I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case. There's been various reports that the father of one of the young men that was with Nolan Wells on the boat that he went out to Horn Island with, and the three of them, white gentlemen, came back, white young men came back without him, is threatening to sue or attack many of us, or some of us, particularly, I don't know who he's suing, but he's attacked Ben Crump, the lawyer, and me by name. I think it is interesting because, first of all, I don't know what his suit would be. As for me, if he was referring to me, and I'm not sure, I would welcome a suit because, one, I've not called anybody's name, I don't know their name. But second, if he would come forward with someone that said they were defamed, then I would be able to depose them, get their phone logs, and try to get some answers for this family. All we want is justice.
All right, so we got to follow up on this Nolan Wells death investigation. This is becoming a very big problem for the Nolan Wells family supporters. Those like Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton. He thought he was going to race hustle his way all the way through this. But no, this man just got a 19-page document that details a brutal lawsuit that's about to hit his front door if he doesn't retract his statements. Now, we know what's going on. These people are saying that Nolan Wells' friends committed some type of crime. They're alleging that information has been deleted from a cell phone that they were not willing to give over to the parents when reality shows otherwise. Matter of fact, don't y'all remember when the father basically said, I don't believe a word that one of the boys has to say to me because when I asked him for his phone, he wouldn't give it to me.
To Jackson County, the sheriff department that night, we were trying to figure out who to get a report to. We had a friend in the family that located his phone. Mm-hmm. We wasn't there to get the phone, but apparently there was some kind of friction with getting his phone.
Yeah.
We don't know what the friction was.
So the phone and the key were at the same location, which was Jack's house.
Okay.
And again, all of these kids share their locations on Snapchat. And so she was like, hey, I can go pick his phone up, not thinking that his car is there, you know, which she stopped everything she was doing. Her and the boys, they went out. Like, we were all out searching for him that night. And yeah, like Elmore was saying, there was an issue, some type of friction. The cops ended up coming and they left. And so then kind of the same thing when we came to pick up the key, Elmore went up there asking for the key, didn't know where the key was, and all of a sudden we know where the key is.
But see, hold on. But see, this is another thing that bothered me too. When we got to the house, you know, it was some of his other friends were there, you know, and they were, you know, beating on the door like, "Where Nolan there? Where Nolan there?" You know, beating on the door trying to get in the house. So I walk up to the door and I'm calming them down, because for one, okay, you're loud. Two, you're in these people's house. So if you tear these people's house up, that's gonna be a whole nother issue. I don't want y'all bothering it. And three, I need you guys to calm down, and I need them to kind of trust me as being an adult so I can get something out of them. So I get them out the house, and then Jax finally comes down the stairs, I guess in the room, hair all messed up like he just woke up, whatever. I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. His car's outside. I need to get his car and all his personal effects that may be left over here. And he goes, oh man, Nolan was like my brother. I said, Nolan was like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go and get everything of his so I can get his car, I can go home. So he walks off. 2 or 3 minutes later, he come back. I don't see the keys. Okay. So I leave out the house. Go back outside, stand by the car. During that time, one of the guys that was in the house, one of the other friends, he was on the phone with a girl who was apparently there with them earlier that day. And she was telling him that his keys was on top of the Xbox in his room. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and we're still out by the car. And lo and behold, here comes the keys. So now to me, you lied to me 3 times. I don't believe nothing that you tell me from here on out.
And this is Jax.
This is Jax.
And eventually he does give you the keys.
Yeah, eventually give me
But
the
there
keys.
was friction getting the keys.
Yes. So for one, you tell me my son is on left still on the island with a girl. 2, you have his phone. And 3, you don't give me the keys when I ask. I don't know any father who would believe, just if one of my friends did that, I'm gonna be cordial with you, but I'm gonna watch you. And
So after he did eventually get the phone, let's make sense of what actually happened. He came over and tried to get the phone unannounced. And the guy who had the phone didn't really know where it was. He wasn't trying to hold it from him. He actually, when he figured out what a phone was, he immediately gave it over to him. I don't know where they get these accusations about stuff being deleted from the phone, but it just doesn't make sense. But the matter that we're speaking about more importantly is Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton, you remember when he came out and he said this about just wanting to know what happened to Nolan Wells. And once we found out what happens to Nolan Wells, if there's no crime, if there's nothing connected to the white friends who they claim that Nolan Wells barely knew, that's what his parents say, they're already preparing themselves to not even believe the outcome.
I don't know what happened, but I got your history in Mississippi. And the history tells me black boy go out with 3 white kids come back. There's a blurred story on what happened. Now y'all all hostile and all upset. Didn't have the keys, but then you had the keys. Some about this don't make sense given your history. And I'm gonna stay on this until we find out what happened. It may be nothing, but we're not gonna leave that up to chance with people that are distorted. We gonna stay on this case. And lastly, since they want to talk about lawsuits, one of the things tying your morning together, Tiffany, they may come back, as you suggested, playing right-wing politics with this, with the local prosecutor, maybe even with the federal people. But if we have a change in January and there is a Democratic House, I said that if Hakeem becomes the speaker, he needs to have the chair of judiciary subpoena them to the Judiciary Department, testify. No, that's what this vote means. We need to have a check and balance of government so that we got somewhere to go. We can't depend to go to Trump's Justice Department. So we need to really mobilize so people like these 2 parents can protect their children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you hear all them people clapping in the background. I don't know why they're clapping. What Al Sharpton just said, he says that because of the history in Mississippi, because there was slavery in Mississippi, because there was lynchings in Mississippi, the history of Mississippi puts the family, puts him at least, in a position in which you should question the outcome of the investigation. On top of that, because they might be playing Republican politics, that gives you another reason why you should not believe the outcome of this racist place. But these boys are like 19 years old. We're linking them all the way back to slavery. Okay, fine. Their parents are a little older, or they got grandparents, great-great-grandparents. All right. But then listen to what he says next. He says if they try to make this a federal investigation, the Republicans are still in control under Donald Trump. You shouldn't even believe an investigation if it came from the federal government. And then he went even further to say, And even if that doesn't work, he's still not going to accept the outcome if it doesn't come back to, I guess, what they're hoping it comes back to. They've been blaming the white boys the whole time. They're saying, or he's saying, you know what? We need to get the Democrats in power so Hakeem Jeffries, if he becomes the Speaker of the House, I'm going to get into that in a second. He says that Hakeem Jeffries, under his authority, will be able to open up another investigation with some black eyes, with some black people, with some Democrats. That's the only way this family is going to get justice. That whole statement was just racist and everything else. Anyway, Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries got a whole nother problem. This guy got all the socialists in their Democrat Party. He might not even win re-election, and I'm going to leave it at that. But then he went even further, because didn't he mention something about a cell phone? So he says this about the cell phone. I'm going to just let him say it for himself.
Friends, holidays you spend together. On the 4th of July of this year, he and 3 young white male friends, people he was acquainted with, decided to go to Horn Island because that's where a lot of the festivities happen. Hours later, the 3 friends came back and he was not with them. And that is where the mystery happened. When his parents recognized he was not back at a certain time, they started calling around and they found that he had not come back with the 3 friends. And that's where it gets cloudy of what the friends knew, when they knew it, why they didn't hand over his cell phone right away when it was clear he was not back with them, the keys. All of that needs to be litigated.
So it's all about the phone. It's all about the phone. Well, I made a video yesterday all about the phone. And we are still questioning, you know what, if something was deleted on the phone, wouldn't they have urgently gave it over to law enforcement to be analyzed? We're a month into this. And as far as I know, the phone still hasn't been turned over to authorities. They've been saying certain things are going to happen and they're going to do it jointly as if they have some type of authority to require law enforcement to do it that way. But this whole phone situation is not checking out, because we know that Nolan Wells' mother was in communication with one of the friends from pretty much the very beginning. And we also know that the boat typically has to drop anchor 50 or 100 feet, because you can't actually dock. Anyway, it's no dock, at Horn Island, from what I can tell. So you have to swim in. So everybody pretty much leaves their phone on the boat. And when Nolan Wells decided that he wasn't getting on the boat, he was going to stay back with some female, I guess. Nobody really knows. Law enforcement to give us that information, hopefully, if they can figure it out. But we know that everybody left their phone on the boat. The boat had to be towed. Whether the boat was towed or not, that's irrelevant, because when the boat finally got back to land without Nolan, you think one of the highest priorities is actually removing everything from the boat? They probably had so many other concerns, only they can answer what was in their mind. But the truth is, why is that suspicious, especially when they were in communication with Nolan Wells' mom? And then finally, when Nolan Wells' mom actually came to recover the phone, they actually got the phone. But this is the biggest part about all this. Sarah Fields just got some very massive exclusive Al Sharpton to be served with a 19-page pre-suit defamation demand. Attorneys call him a human circus, a megalodon? Anyway, reputation, and throws his own words back at him. You asked for it, and now you got it. Yeah, because Al Sharpton was basically saying, hey, I don't know what they're going to, I put it at the beginning of this video, I'm not really sure exactly what they're going to sue me for, but if they sue me, I want them to, because if they sue me, then I'll be able to actually depose them, and I'll be able to figure out what's on the phone and tell the family. Okay, fine. You asked for it. They're giving it to you. Sarah Fields say, I have exclusively obtained the brutal 19-page pre-suit defamation demand dated today, August 21st, 2026, from attorneys Edward Andrew Plotsky, listen, I'm bad with names, and Tyler Cox on behalf of Warren Hudson, Jax Morgan, Al Sharpton publicly dared these young men to sue him at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. Al Sharpton stood on stage and said, I want them to sue me first. He then doubled down. I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed. And then let's go to civil court, any kind of court you want to go to, because you can't make this make sense. Their attorneys took him at his word. We're happy to grant your request. The attorneys warned Sharpton that unless he complies with the demands in the letter, he will immediately be filing suit against you. And since Sharpton seems so excited about depositions, they throw that right back at him. While we are more than ready for Warren Jackson Morgan to sit for their deposition and tell the truth under oath, we are most looking forward to your deposition. They directed that exactly to the Reverend. Smearing the reputation of the innocent young men are mourning the loss of their friend to score cheap political points will prove far easier than explaining yourself under oath. They tell Sharpton that dealing with them will be an altogether different experience than what they describe as his slanderous rampage inside an echo chamber of fawning sycophants. Okay. The demand tears into his statements Sharpton made on TMZ Live on July 14th. He repeatedly pushed a narrative involving Nolan Wells and his 3 white friends. Sharpton claimed that no one comes forward, questioning whether the young men had been interrogated, injected race directly into the discussion, and claimed one of the young men had Nolan's phone and keys, initially denied having them and later demanded and later admitted it. Sharpton said, now see, the thing that's crazy about this, Reverend Al Sharpton has such a international, I would say definitely, well, I don't know about international, definitely he's well known in America, and he's on mainstream news networks or a news network. So he has a huge platform. So when he speaks, people listen, and they're saying, hey, this defamation is going too far. You want it to be first? You first. Sharpton said all of his photos, text message, everything on the phone had been erased. Damn. He then summarized his accusation like this. 2, you lie about whether or not you had the cell phone and the keys. And 3, everything erased from the cell phone. The attorneys say that narrative is false, and they don't politely disagree with him. They accuse Sharpton of sprawling lie after lie about Warren Jackson Morgan and say his remarks were intended to identify them as criminals, turning them into enemies, endangering them, and subject them to threats, ridicule, and scorn. They claim Sharpton's August 19th online vigil of Nolan. According to the demand, Sharpton used that vigil to again question what the young men knew, when they knew it, and why Nolan's phone and keys were supposedly not immediately handed over. The attorneys describe Sharpton's description of Sharpton is savage. They call him a whatever, Maglodon, whatever that means, for a reputation, whatever, and accuse him of being unable to resist under using what was supposed to be a vigil to launch yet again another attack against Nolan's friends. Their words, you dishonored Nolan by using a vigil as a platform to smear his best friends. Then you just can't help yourself. The attorneys then categorically stated what they say actually happened. Jax, Warren, Morgan, not in that order, did not, capitals, touch Nolan's phone or keys on July 4th. They did not lie about possessing them. They did not access Nolan's phone. They did not breach it. They did not erase anything. They did not tamper with anything. And you know what? The metadata on this will definitely be able to tell if anybody deleted it, and if they did, when. It will be up to investigators to figure out if anybody did delete anything. But the truth is, these boys, through their attorney, is saying, not us. And contrary to Sharpton's claim that no one comes forward, the attorneys state these young men contacted Nolan's family, contacted the Coast Guard, coordinated with the authorities, and returned to Horn Island to search, all caps, for their missing friend. They also categorically deny that Warren, Jax, or Morgan had anything whatsoever to do with Nolan's death. Yeah, this thing is getting warmed up. Actually, I think this thing is already boiling hot. Get in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on this. Reverend Al Sharpton, if he don't apologize, he got an opportunity. I think he should be live on one of those news networks over the weekend. So he got an opportunity to retract, and then I guess they want him to basically erase, delete everything that he ever said negative about the boys and make a full apology and everything else. But will he do it? Hey, Reverend Al Sharpton got deep pockets, and to be honest, he's old as dirt. So he might be like, hey, I'll take this to court. Who knows? We definitely going to be on top of it. I'm Richie B here. Richie B Investigates, cover everything breaking. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, stay tapped in, and I will catch you on the next one.